Welcome to Spiritual Rebirth Tarot. I'm Madelyn, and today I would like to talk about our Astrology Friday. And this Friday, I'd like to talk about the full moon next week, the 31st. So it's really a cool full moon because it's a blue moon, which means it's the second moon within the calendar month. Because October 1st was the full moon and 31st is the full moon. Also, daylight savings time changes here in the US. I feel like that used to be the case when I was a kid, and then things changed for a while and now they're back maybe? I don't know. Anyway, it's kind of exciting to have all these things happening. Of course, it's also a Halloween. And it's Samhain, which is the Celtic, Irish, Druid holiday as well. So it's one of their 4 main holidays. So I would like to invite all of you to the full moon get-together presentation that we'll have on the 31st. So we always have a live presentation for the moon cycles, the full moon and the new moon. So maybe I'll start adding one for I think for now we'll do those 2 time periods. And so it's on Facebook, on Spiritual Rebirth Tarot Facebook page, that I have the live, and it's really cool because this time we'll be doing readings for people that want to hear from one of their loved ones. Because the biggest thing about Samhain is that the space between our worlds and our different levels it's very very thin at that time, and very easy for things to go through. Now it's kind of interesting because Samhain is Samhain. Now when I taught when I taught grade school in Ireland for a year, it was really fun. It was fun to be in Ireland, but one of the really fun things is the kids would give me their Irish, because they had things written in Irish. They learned Irish from kindergarten up through 12th grade. And they also learned French. So French, Irish, and English were the 3 languages that they learned in school. Anyway, I would read it with because I had learned Spanish not too long before in high school, because I was just in college still. I would read it with Spanish pronunciation, so it would be Samhain. So one of the things that my friend always said was "be gama" or "be good," and it sounds a lot the same. But oh my goodness, the spelling was probably like FPQTZ. The spelling and the sounds were just never made sense to me. Like, how is this Samhain? So I just wanted to share that with you. That was one of those fun little moments that we'd have there. Is I would read everything with a Spanish accent, and they would laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. Okay, so Samhain marked the beginning of the old Celtic New Year. So November 1st is actually a new year for the Celts, and many Celtic pagans still, and Druid and other things still celebrate as the new year. And the renewal of the wheel of the year is the way that they put it. I like that. It's the wheel of the year, and it's the renewal of it. So, and the reason why is because this was the night that the old god died, returning to the land of the dead to wait for the rebirth at Yule. and a time when the crone goddess would go into mourning for her lost son, consort, depending on how the stories go, leaving her people in temporary darkness. So it's the beginning of the dark season. So I think it's really fascinating this year, 2020, it's also in the US, the time changes. So we start, we go back from daylight savings time to the regular time sequence. We can look at it as, as Halloween, and like Halloween was that, before All Hallows Eve. And so it was the idea of November 1st, I believe, was All Saints Day, and November 2nd was All Souls Day. And so, and then where I'm from here, where I'm living right now, I'm actually from Washington State, but where I'm living now in southern, in the southern here in New Mexico, they really celebrate even more the Day of the Dead. And so just as many people have the Day of the Dead, they have a little, all the pictures of their family members who have moved on, and so all of these kind of things. So the Day of the Dead is kind of a more direct correlation to this Celtic celebration. As in the days long past, the Celtic pagans believe that the veil between the world of the living and the dead is at its thinnest that night. So that's why I want to have some readings from, any of you that want to hear from one of your loved ones who's been lost, and we can, through the tarot, ask them for any advice at this time. And we can first, through the Reiki, place a protection around us so that we only hear from those people in our time. Okay, so and that the spirits of our departed loved ones walk the earth, visiting family and friends, and join in the ritual celebrations. This makes Samhain a prime night for any type of spirit contact rituals. And so it's also a time when you can do those kind of rituals. So the feeding of the dead is a widespread practice even in modern Celtic lands. In Brittany and Ireland, food is always left out for these spirits and travelers, and candles are placed in windows to guide them on their way. And these were the origins of modern Halloween customs. The jack-o'-lantern is the light to help the spirits know where to come. And then the trick-or-treat is giving out the sweets to them. And then, of course, the Day of the Dead, you have a lot of sweets and things there for your loved ones. So, of course, that's what they'll like the best, right? Maybe a little savory for a few that, I'm just kidding. So anyway, so that's how all of this kind of evolved. And I think that's why Halloween is so special to so many people, and so many different ways, is because of feeling so close to our ancestors. And so I know that one of my friends, she's doing, readings as well of, what would your ancestors want to tell you from some of the mystic shaman decks. So it's nice to hear, from our ancestors. You could always ask answers in general or someone, specific. Depends on how you go. Okay, so October 31st, Samhain, means the end of summer, and it's the third and final Druid, Sabbath celebration. And so, it's often celebrated even up to like 4 days or a week, or it depends. And for a long time, it was something that you kind of were required to do. It's generally celebrated on the 31st, but some people it's on the 1st. So it is a magical interval when the mundane laws of time and space are temporarily suspended and the thin veil between the worlds is lifted. Communicating with ancestors and departed loved ones is easy at this time, for they journey through this world on their way to the Summerlands. It is a time to study the dark mysteries and honor the Dark Mother and the Dark Father, symbolized by the crone and her aged consort. And so it talks about, and I put this on, all this information on my Facebook, Spiritual Rebirth Tarot. So you can go to the link for that and go over and like that. And also look at these things if you'd like to see this in writing. So, for instance, some of the herbs, mugwort, allspice, broom, catnip, deadly nightshade, mandrake, oak leaves, sage, and straw. So I was thinking maybe, you know, like things that have pumpkin spice, you know, the allspice and things like that. So a lot of that could be nice. The foods, turnips, apples, gourds, nuts, mulled wines, beef, pork, and poultry. I know I love mulled wine. So turnips, apples, gourds, nuts, milled wines, beef, pork, and poultry. And it's actually really fun to make like a roasted things, whatever you like, salad. And I'll like roast it and prepare it with some apple cider vinegar. And it'll usually have like, so like the nuts will be the hazelnuts. And then it'll have apples and turnips and beets and carrots and all different kinds of root vegetables that have been roasted in the oven. And then you chill them and put them with the apple cider vinegar dressing. So that would be like a real cool thing. It would kind of bring all this together with a little bit of some of your favorite protein that you like, either a vegetarian or otherwise. And then the incense, you can have heliotrope, mint, and nutmeg. So nutmeg, you know, is another one of the pumpkin spice. So have yourself a pumpkin spice latte. Okay, I'm not trying to sell anything, but so the colors, black and orange, white, silver, so I wore my silver chain, and gold, have gold in the ring. So silver, gold, things that are white, and we have some white candles, and then the black and orange and white in the shirt. So those are some of the colors that you can wear to help along that time. And then for stones, any kind of a black stone that you have. I actually have just a stone from outside that's black that has a little bit of white things in it. And even though it, you know, I think that stones can mean to you whatever they're going to mean. They don't have, I mean, if it could be, you know, obsidian or, you know, something like that, you know, different things, that's great. I'll have a lot to it, but, you know, you also can have a simple black stone that could mean a lot to you. And I know that when I was a child, I did a lot of stone collecting. So I think that too, with, you know, Reiki, you can place the Reiki energy in the stone and, you know, ask it to, like, I like to place Reiki energy in my different bracelets and things and ask it to give out love to all those around me and to put a bubble of protection around me during the day. And, you know, it has just this nice, soft feeling to it. Okay. So I hope that helps a little bit with this time. You know, obviously we can look at it from the full moon perspective and the energies of the full moon and the blue moon. And then also with it being Halloween. So there's going to be a lot of energies, and to have the energy of the full moon at the same time as having the veil lifted, it'll certainly make it to be a very magical time for everyone. So I would like to, if any mischief happens during that time, it's your fairies. So I wanted to take a look at some of the fairies that might come and cause you a little bit of mischief. So let's pull 2 or 3 fairies, depending on how many want to come out and play. So it says in the fairy book that they love it when you lay them all out like this. I don't know if you can see very well, but let me do it one more time. So I like to put the Reiki energy in the deck, and then we'll lay it out, and we'll pick a couple of fairies that'll probably come in, cause a little havoc during this time. All right. Okay. Let's see what we got. Ooh, wow. Oh my goodness. I was watching, and this is 2 of my favorite of all the fairies. This is so cool. Himself and the himself is just, oh, amazing. So he might cause a little havoc. I mean, look at his chakra, his heart chakra. You know, his heart chakra, his third eye, and his crown are just lighting up, and there's a lot of other chakras that have to do with you know, connecting to higher powers. And he does look like he'd be a little mischievous. And then this one will just run around and cause havoc. And I think, I'll just read about it, but I think that's actually what it talks about. So that's really cool. I think that this one looks like the motor on the back of a boat. And, you know, it's like helping you, propel you through life. So let's take a look at these fairies. Himself, 17. So 17 is 8. So 1 plus 7 is 8. See, because I even have himself on because he's one that I've been studying. How cool. Okay, natural law, a life force, magic, and shamanic power. So, and we were just talking about shamanic, you know, it's fascinating because shaman have been, you know, around since, you know, like, I think 100,000 years, you know, kind of thing. I mean, is that what they say? You know, crazy long time the shamans have been in existence and been part of our life. And the cool thing about shamanism is that it modifies and grows throughout our lives. So it's really cool. And then, you know, and then there's this whole, you know, the Celtic and the Druid is, you know, very old, like 2,000 years old. So he really comes from, you know, and when he has natural law to me really is pointing to, you know, your ancestors and your ancestry, you know, potentially past lives and all of that kind of like natural thing. And I do very, I can do a past life reading for you or a soul contract, which is, you know, what you kind of came here for. So if you're interested in that, those are available. They're very, very deep. I spent about an hour in the reading and then about another half an hour to an hour on the write-up and the presentation for you. So it's a very strong message that comes out for your life path and things like that, which is such a great thing. Okay, known as himself, this fairy is guardian of both the hunter and the hunted, and finds no conflict in that because he understands the many necessary balances of nature. The living bond between all life, himself is the breath that moves, the atom that dances, and his magic is in pure being, living and loving. I don't know how to pronounce this. Onagus, journeyman, and the master maker have the magic of doing, of the creation of things. The bright mother has the magic of manifesting and nurturing. But himself, he has the magic of procreation, of dancing the spark of life into being. His presence brings magic and life into a world where it is shaped and given form by Earth Mother. He dances as the bright mother gives birth, powering us into the world. Powering momentum coming into the world. He is the Great Father. Wow. So he works with the bright mother. And it's interesting because at this time, you're supposed to look at the crone, the mother. So it's fascinating to have gotten this card. Himself speaks of protection, either of the querent or of someone the querent owes protection to, like a child or an elder. Acceptance of paternal responsibility is important, as are deep and committed relationships. He is the preserver of the natural world and its balances. Shamanic power may be indicated here when this card comes up, as well as potential for powerful spiritual healing. The card may also speak of erotic energy, passion, and potent creativity. So, and it all goes together because, you can't see the rest of his chakra, but they're all there because the sacral chakra is all about both erotic energy, passion, and potent creativity. So that's pretty cool. Well, it's kind of neat that it's talking about shamanic things and healing because that's one thing that I'm working on because I have kind of like a clinical depression. And so I decided, I'm going to start using shamanic healing. I am certified in theta healing and I attuned with Reiki. And so let's use all of these to heal that. And, there are a lot of layers inside yourself that need to be healed when it comes to depression. And, but one layer a day. So, isn't that what Shrek says? I'm like an onion, I have lots of layers. Well, it's kind of like us too. So, and this is just kind of pointing to that night will be a great night for us to get to really respond to even more healing. And maybe some of our ancestors will come to us and say, I struggled with blah, 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 anxiety, cancer, whatever you may be facing that you need healing. I struggled with those too, and this is how I was benefited. So I was attuned strongly to this particular fairy also because you can see that he has kind of like these horns on his head, and my creature, my totem animal is the stag, the male deer with the horns, and with the antlers, and so that kind of like pulls into that as well. Okay, so this himself is an awesome fairy. It's really great. So if he comes and wreaks havoc, I guess you'll have to just laugh a little bit. So let's look at 52, which is the other one. The R-A-R-R. Wild energy and pure potential. Okay. So, it really just comes in with a lot of energy and creativity and potential. Let's see. Once upon a time, there were 3 pink boys, more or less, and a rar, who all played in Brian's son's Toby's bedroom. They liked the midnight tea parties, the magical ambiance, and of course they liked Toby. Okay, so some spirits and this this fairy, the rar. Unfortunately, the pink boys got too rowdy and Brian had to throw them out into the garden. They may be another type of fairy, I think, which was where they belonged anyway. The rar learned from this experience in a rarish way, and it quieted down a bit during the midnight hours. So he learned from the others and realized how it could avoid getting kicked out of the house. So these fairies are perfect for those little things that may go missing or little mishaps. So anything that happens that's a mishap or a trick during October 31st, the 1st, in there, trick or treat, any little trick, just blame it on the fairies. That's what they say. Okay, rars are not naughty or wicked, just energetic. They are also not very discriminating. They like to join into whatever excitement is going on and add energy to it. In a way, they are pure potential, and they potentialize whatever is happening. Roars are attracted to mobs rioting and to meditation groups, rising toward ecstasy, and to any other strong energy states. So, they'll probably come, the rar, 1 or 2 will probably come join us on the 31st. We have our full moon celebration, because they enjoy that kind of thing. Okay, so I hope that helps a little bit. Now, it does say that the rar is not grounded and isn't meant to be, but humans need to keep their feet firmly on the ground. When you encounter the rar, breathe slowly, center, earth yourself, and be clear about your objectives, and then go for them. Okay. All right. So these are 2 very fun and beautiful and wonderful fairies that will come and have some special fun time with us on the 31st under the full moon and the Halloween and Samhain time. Okay, so I feel like that's kind of what we're supposed to talk about today, and I hope that you enjoyed the time, and make yourself some food that kind of incorporates all of these different things together for that evening, and then also maybe find yourself some black or dark stones to kind of ground yourself during this time, because the energies will be very strong, and there are a lot of things around you that might be a little bit more unusual during that time. So, thank you so much for coming to Spiritual Rebirth Tarot. I'm Madelyn, and I will see you again next Friday for Astrology Friday.